Since there will most likely be some time before I'm able to make my next video, I decided I'm going to try to get out some of the most important information that I can in this one. First, before I go any further, as a preface to all this, I just want to say that as a child, I always had this kind of a feeling that people, in a sense, were watching me or something, as if my life was being supervised from the outside, not directly interfered with, but more as a test, an experiment. And in fact, whatever force it was that I felt like was watching me, I called them the invisible scientists. It was only a few times that I, similar to an imaginary friend, or when you might talk to, say, when you pray, or your imaginary friend, you might not feel their presence all the time. It's pretty much only when you want to, and that's similar to me. So it's not that this was, totally crazy. It was just as a childhood fantasy, play, imagination, whatever. The invisible scientist is what I call them, as if my life was some kind of experiment that they were watching to see how I would react in certain situations or such. I don't know. But what's really going on with some of this other stuff, I don't know, as other people have wanted to complain about my videos, that no one should be saying, oh, what is going on? But if you listen to the way I talk, I am very skeptical even of my own ideas, and so I, I'm trying my best to present both sides in a non-biased way, and yet present the information that is there that is being ignored. Whether it's crazy or not, who the fuck cares, But some of these other people that on previous videos that have complained about, a title such as, what's going on with blah, 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 and they're saying, oh, well, you shouldn't, I never listen to anybody that says what's going on. Well, did you watch the video? No, probably not, because during the damn thing, I don't give any answers. I ask questions the whole damn time. So, what's going on is a question, not necessarily the answer, right? Interdimensional Phoenician time travelers. So, what's going on? If you're here, I'm assuming you've done some previous research and have a general understanding of the basics. We won't be discussing if Area 51 exists. It exists. The question would be, what's going on there? Is it extraterrestrial aliens or secret government testing area? I'm not here to talk about the very basics. Not that this is an advanced lesson either. Let's say intermediate. Again, I'm not going to give you an introduction to alchemy, witchcraft, or ancient Egyptian beliefs. I'm assuming you've read all those books and watched all those specials on TV. If not, there are plenty of better introduction level videos than this available on the internet. I'm not here to just rehash the same old bullshit. We're here to progress and move forward, not to go over the same shit. The enemy is moving forward right now. They're not letting you play catch up. And every minute we waste, Charlie is getting stronger. So since we have to start somewhere, let's start with pirates. Whatever happened to all that treasure? Look at just some of the lost sunken treasure in the Caribbean. Imagine how much more actually made it to its destination. Its destination in America. It could have been the same gold that was lost and looked for during the Civil War. But still, where'd all that pirate gold go? Phoenicians were the first sailors / traders of the sea. They invented money, with metal nose rings being traded off as a type of IOU, which was worth one bull, hence the bull nose ring. The metal arm bracelets of the Vikings indicate how vast a stretch of land their trade routes took them, and how much influence they had over the people they met there. UFOs at sea. The UFOs seem to have a strong connection to the water. According to William Bill Cooper, it's the Navy that investigates and handles all UFO phenomenon. Christopher Columbus even saw a UFO on his discovery of America. It actually guided them to land and the shore, which could indicate a guiding hand by these unknown forces, perhaps even time travelers from the future who wanted to see this historic event. And yet, the light seems to have acted as a beacon, guiding the way, mistaken by the sailors for a lighthouse. So the idea of time-traveling tourists doesn't seem likely, unless the original landing spot was supposed to be somewhere else, and the tourists messed things up with their camouflage, so to speak, and drew attention elsewhere. That would mean we're on an alternate timeline, different than the one that was supposed to happen. But Columbus would have eventually hit land anyway, it seems, and probably near the same group of islands. So the effects that would have happened if this was an alternate timeline shouldn't have been that dramatic or that different from the original. Even today, these unknown visitors seem to be interfering with human events, most notably in government affairs, with several documented stories of UFOs having been able to actually shut down multiple nuclear missile launch facilities. Even more, UFOs were said to have visited the White House in Washington, D.C. in 1952. They were caught on film and footage, and the X-Files recently even recreated it and aired it in an episode which they tried to expose once and for all government involvement with UFO aliens in the season 10 premiere episode, which got millions of views. So many people have seen this, and surprisingly, many people believe it to be based on reality. The Case for UFOs book, the Varro edition, indicates that some unexplained markings called devil's footprints from time to time have just mysteriously appeared in the ground, are of UFO origin, and are similar to measuring techniques used by underwater explorers. If UFO craft and phenomenon are of underwater origin, this would explain why they have used underwater tactics on even the mainland. And to explain why we don't use these markings as often now, it's just as our human technology has progressed. So we don't need such primitive navigation methods as, say, a map and compass. We now have more advanced systems as GPS. Technology such as the rumored Philadelphia experiment, which was an experiment carried out to develop radar cloaking technology and ended up accidentally becoming a time-traveling machine. A high-tech exploration of time and space involved in military government, which again occurred on water. Movies such as James Cameron's The Abyss and Michael Crichton's The Sphere seem to hint at insider knowledge of this fact, a mysterious underwater force with advanced superpowers. Both movies feature an alien life which communicates with aliens using telepathy or mental, emotional connection. Both feature beings and underwater civilizations which have been there undisturbed for hundreds of years, if not longer. And even in real human history, the idea of underwater intelligent life encountering humans is an old belief that's present in the ancient African tales of the fish god of the Dogon tribe. Ancient Egypt has the Sphinx, which at one time was submerged halfway beneath an artificial canal purposely dug to divert water from the Nile River to both pyramids, and the Great Sphinx as well. Historian and Egyptologist Robert Bauval has discussed this, yet it has gone ignored by most of mainstream media. Much as the Pope's choice of headdress apparently is shaped like a fish, and the fish being a symbol of early Christianity goes ignored. Again, though, water seems to be a theme or a common thread behind some of the guiding forces throughout human history. That's why Scientology sets sail on international waters, because international waters have no laws other than maritime law, which deals mainly with commerce, lost cargo, and basic needs of sailors that are working for a captain on the ship. It's where we get the basic rule of finders keepers for lost cargo. Now, the Varro edition of The Case for the UFOs has comments by what appear to be interdimensional spies, or at the very least, people and persons who have very classified information as to the nature and background of what is really happening behind many of these unexplained events in UFO sightings. Not all New World Order or Illuminati type people that you see are Phoenicians. Many you see in the media, YouTube, entertainment industry are sellouts. These are people that have done business with the Phoenicians and now attempt to adopt the symbols and culture of the Phoenicians and their many offshoots, such as the Templars, etc., etc. It's much like a poor person who admires a rich man and then wishes to dress like him and copy him. His haircut, wearing a watch, nice shoes, tie. And this may lead to a certain amount of success among the other poor people that don't know any better. But really, in reality, his master is just using him. This is the idea of selling your soul to Satan, making a bargain in order to gain material goods or fame and fortune. But it comes at a price, and you are still doing business with the devil. Now, for additional research, because that's the end of what I had wrote down. Like I said, I really got to get going. This is my video that's going to be here for a while before I can get back on. A couple of the other notes that I have on the bottom that I hadn't actually worked out. A lot of this seems to confirm Jordan Maxwell's allusions to a Templar pirates having some sort of possible connection to all these UFO, water, Phoenician, New World Order, government. Check it out. Look it up. Vedic astrology versus Western astrology, two different systems, like two different computer languages, which is why you'll find multiple meanings embedded in the same message sometimes. This refers or is similar to the Zohar or Kabbalistic thought of the Pardes, P-A-R-D-E-S, which is that there are many levels of meaning to the Bible. But I also extend that to more than just the Bible. Codes can be combined. Like your Windows computer may be using HTML to read the internet, but the internet may also be using Flash or Java code in that HTML. So you're going to have different power systems all vying for power, like I've said. You have different, or vying for control. A bunch of groups, a bunch of gangs, and there's not just one. So you have several different groups. It appears to be at least 5 or 6 different organizations or groups that exist that are all fighting for power and of control of the world. But it seems that, just like nature, they can't hold on to it. Take, for example, the Democratic-Republican example of the two pillars, and however you want to look at it. You have the Democrats, which are generally represented by the younger people, and you have the Republicans, which generally the older people vote for. You'll have exceptions to both, but this is essentially how the process of politics works. It's sped up a bit, but even within old Roman Caesars, different Caesars would come in with different ideas. And while the older people do have a lot of knowledge as far as how to sustain themselves, what works, what doesn't work from their own experience, right? The younger people occasionally also bring in fresh ideas. So you need a combination. You can't just have all these old people that are unwilling to change or from their belief systems at all. On the other hand, these young people that have the new ideas, a lot of them are very naive, okay? And they might have one good point, not necessarily a good idea, but they might have a good way of approaching it or something like that, that the older gentleman didn't really, catch on to. Point being, you get the young blood in, you get the old blood, and it goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, like energy, like electricity, alternate current, back and forth. There's a charge that's built up, and then it's released. And then a charge built up, and then released. And then a charge built up and released. Same with yin-yang. Goes round, around, around, around. All of this. You'll see it. Might be the way the world works. So get fucking used to it. That's left, right, left, right. If you think about it, that's how you move forward, right? Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, left, right, left, right. But that's how you walk forward, is using your left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. So sometimes it sucks, but that's the way it goes. As far as this actual video, it's that the fact that there is something definitely going on, seems to be connected to the water. Seems to have something to do with Phoenicians. I'm not 100% exactly sure, but they are definitely very ancient and have had a lot of influence in the world. You can see they were the first shipbuilders as far as navigation purposes, or the first known ones. We can assume that there were a few smaller, rafts and such built before the Phoenicians started theirs. We're assuming. This is not for a fact. We don't know. But the Phoenicians were the first ones to actually go around coast to coast trading shit, inventing money. And it would seem that if you were that early in on the game, that you'd be able to stack the chips in your favor. Now, what's interesting is that throughout history, the Phoenicians have been attacked time and time again, and have been the victim of some sort of resentment on certain kings and such like that. Or here's a group that is very powerful, and yet they still manage to stick around. The point being that if people want to look into the history of secret societies, that seems like it would be a good place to start. Might not be the first secret society. They might not even be anything at all, but you're going to get a lot of information for a lot of good stuff. I'm just fucking rambling. Just wanted to get that fucking shit out.